There was a woman riding the 108 with a folder full of Social Security information which she shows me as we sit waiting for the bus. And she asks for bus fare, which I would not have myself had I not bought a 15-day pass 5 days ago. But I give her 31 cents, and she proceeds to recall to me her battle today. Fighting with the government to prove her husband has died. She has no death certificate because his father took care of the funerary arrangements, and he still weeps when someone mentions his late son. She still smiles broadly after furrowing her brow and telling me that her son is in jail and that maybe he wouldn't be if his dad was around. She recites morbid as a mantra, recalling her ordeal that day. And I am distracted with my own business, and I do not linger too much for her conversation when the bus comes and we ride it separately, taking for myself a seat up the stairs as she sits in a handicap space, condemning herself. And I should have been a better ear for her. But I was coiled in my own life, unfolding in the framework of messages whipping back and forth. But I sat there, green messages popping into existence, and I only looked up briefly to note where she sat, where the bus was on the route. And it dawned on me that this could be her routine, riding the rails and talking tragedy to whomever would listen. But it aches me that the best I could do was offer a half-given ear. Even if it was just how she got her jollies, what would it have cost me but some quickness in the affirmations of love in a trying spot, something I didn't need anyway for its knowing, and worse, to think it was real. And consider that I was the highlight of her day. Someone who believed her briefly in her story and shared his own loss with her, something I did as a matter of fact and in an offhanded attempt to empathize, knowing I was the highlight of her day because she took a moment, smiling broadly and with tears in her eyes, to say goodbye and to thank me for listening, that it was nice meeting me. And I smiled back and wished her good luck, a go-to in Las Vegas, and turned back to my conversation and its resolution. And it was not until I was home that I even remembered her. I never learned her name, though it was readily readable on her paperwork. Her husband's name, which might have been as well. Her son's name, who she loved dearly, you could tell. How her husband died, though she might not have been able to say it yet. How her son was arrested, which she might not have discussed. How long she was unemployed for, which she admitted to. And that to taking odd jobs, making $10 for babysitting and wanting to watch more kids, but more than 3 and you need a license and insurance, and so on. Each iota of her that I can remember is a treasure. Her overbite, her hairy armpits, her skin beaten by the sun, the broad way she smiled and the brown of her eyes, the black tank top she wore, her khaki shorts, her Marlboro cigarettes, that I might look at myself in the mirror and still see a human being, because I was tied up in the knots of me, but still had the gumption for some semblance of kindness.